give you a little history of the carver and colonial tombstone carving as well. Yeah. So I've been doing that since about 25 years.
You're probably the only
Is that all?
person in the world.
That's all. But
The only person in the world doing
there's a
it.
couple, there's some girls in Newport that do it, the Tombstone girls.
Well, you should be a
Tombstone
tombstone guy.
girls.
I could be a Tombstone guy, but they have a
Yeah.
website, and I don't have a website. So I'm not interested in
Yeah.
making it public.
Wow, that's quite a job though by the time you get done.
It is, yeah, I really don't make much money, if you think it.
Any
I work
money?
about 50 cents an hour.
These
Yeah.
days that's not very good.
Yeah. It keeps me out of trouble.
Well.
Yeah. And I don't do shows like I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean you did shows?
Craft shows.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually, there's one coming up this month at Crescent Beach, and Jeannie and I are going to do that. We thought we'd do it; it'd be fun to do. So she's doing rubbings, which she's matting and framing.
Oh.
Yeah, she's an artist, so
Yeah.
I says, yeah, if you want to do that, I'll show you the ones to do. So, yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, we spent yesterday cutting matting.
Isn't that fun?
That's fun. Took us all day. I think we did about 6. 6 or 7.
are we gonna set it times?
Well, eventually.
Oh, I thought maybe the whole time.
Bill, if you want to sit the whole time,
That's
you
what
may.
I've been doing, I just sit and I watch you guys.
Well, now that you're here, you
Oh,
you
dear.
may be encouraged to.
Uh-oh. That's what you get for coming. You
Yeah.
have to stand up.
Well, I'm gonna give it a try.
Well, sit down whenever you need to.
Yeah.
Questions?
Not really. Maybe practice seat gates. How's that?
Indeed, actually, well, in that case, sit down for a minute.
Oh, okay. Say the secret word and you get to sit down.
So, we've been focusing on bending and stretching, and I wanted to actually talk about a little bit about lengthening, not very much, short talk, and begin to think about that in some of these practices, because it's not the same thing to be doing exercises or doing the 8-gait movements by stretching your muscles. First of all, stretching the muscles can be done in a mindful or mindless fashion. And there are 3 or 4 different ways in which you could teach people how to do hatha yoga postures. The ones where you get your body to go to a point is kind of like the lowest level. And then there are more sophisticated ones when you get to the higher mountains of the Himalayas. But still, you have to understand what you're trying to do when you're stretching. So here's what focusing on, it's not stretching. We really want to focus on lengthening. And that is having the nerves inside the body release the tissue so that they naturally release and extend. Not that that we push the fibers of the body to stretch. What we're after is chi circulation, not gymnastic postures. So one aspect of this is, of course, feeling and releasing the fascia of the arms and legs, because that is what your intent is going to try and get you to use to have the chi travel along it. And you want to have the fascia twisting and changing direction at the appropriate points, which is about having your chi reach the crown of your head and your feet. So as you do this more and more, you will get how to make the transitions seamless. You want it to have no sense of stopping and starting. It's continuous because chi continuously circulates in your body. And what you're trying to do with all your movements is mimic the way that chi naturally moves. Chi doesn't go to a certain point and stop, hang out for a bit, and then start up again. What we're doing is mimicking what the body does naturally and doing it in a specific way so we can increase the functioning of what the body is designed to do naturally. So that's why when we talk about bending and stretching, I really prefer the word extending instead of stretching, as I have mentioned to you. And making that transition to really including lengthening is not always the easiest one. Lengthening, as I just said, is really talking about releasing the nerves so that an arm, for instance, just naturally extends. I'm not doing that with my muscles. I'm just releasing the nerves and allowing the arm to extend. And lengthening goes both out and in. And often we find lengthening in is the hardest thing to do. As we hear lengthening, that's talking about it going out. So that's easy. I can get to relax and allow myself to lengthen out. What do you mean, relax my nerves and allow myself to lengthen in? Well, it's just like bending and stretching and twisting in two directions. Lengthening goes both ways. And if you really allow the lengthening to go out, it will naturally come back in. So you really don't have to do much to get lengthening in if you really get lengthening out. You
Yes.
have a question about this?
I was kind of hoping that we could practice it somehow, and you talk and
Well, you know, with lengthening, really the only thing you can do is get you to give me your arm. And if you can really let go of your arm, then I can give you some sense of what that's like. So if you really release and let it go, and you're not really letting go.
I'm hanging on. That's hard to do.
Yeah, it is. So it's hard. It's a hard thing. I can't there's no way that I can actually make you do it.
Well, you have to try harder.
I do my best. It's a strange thing, because, you know, you say, okay, here, I can do this, I can extend my arm out here like this. But then if I release, and it goes further. And it's not that it's gonna go way out there, unless you're Bruce Francis. I mean, he goes a long way, but I can't.
What's a long way with
At least a couple inches, sometimes more. I mean, he can move the plates of his skull. Come on. You know, they invited him to come to Harvard and they, you know, hooked him up to all kinds of machines. And he proved that he could not only extend his arm, but he could move at will any organ in virtually any direction he wanted to move it.
That's scary.
Yeah. He is a little scary that way. I'll tell you, the first time I saw him, he was a little scary. But that was, fortunately, that was about 25 years ago, and he's lost a lot more of his ego since then. So, anyway, so we're going to play with this a little bit.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is, we're going to do the 8 gates, indeed, but we're going to stop at the end, at least on the first 4. We're going to stop at the end of each in and out and just feel it. Because you have to feel it. There's no other way. I mean, I can stretch your arm out, and if you can let yourself go, maybe you can feel something. But that's not the same thing as you releasing your nerves and just allowing the arm to extend.
Yeah, it seemed at one time we did an exercise where we took a partner and I remember like the fingers, we would pull and then push, pull, push.
You could actually, you're right, you can go through the whole body.
Right, we did, yeah.
Doing each joint.
Right.
And, you know, that helps, but it doesn't, I don't know. I remember the first time I went through doing that.
Right, yeah.
With Bill Ryan, who was one of Bruce's senior students. And I understood what he wanted us to feel, and you can feel that it's possible for each joint to open a little bit more than, but the difference between that and actually doing it yourself, there's a jump in there. And you've had the experience of doing all the...
This was in the Wu class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that night.
So that's maybe a help.
Yeah. Well, it showed me it was possible.
Yeah.
And the example I always come back to is the times that I had to reach into a barrel or a garbage can or whatever it was and get something off the bottom. And I could only reach so far, and then I just released and I could reach it. But you have to be careful, because if I let it go too far, I could feel a lot of pain in the muscle. It's
So-
almost like I stretched it, or the weight of the arm pulled on. Maybe
So what you're really doing is you're stretching the attachments of something,
The ligaments or,
muscles, ligaments, tendons, fascia,
Right.
something in there, yeah.
yeah,
So, as with anything we do, if you feel it causing pain, stop.
yeah.
That's wrong.
Well, this was usually after the fact, because I knew I
Ah.
released it, I got what I needed, and then I put it back, and then I was ready for the afterburn, because that
Well, that's
would show
interesting.
up. It was,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
but I mean,
So
it
that
was,
sounds to me like you may have released, you may have done some
Yeah.
lengthening, but you were also doing some stretching,
probably,
over
yeah,
stretching.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't last long, but it was
Yeah,
pretty noticeable.
yeah. Because lengthening should not cause any pain
Right.
during or after.
Right.
So that would be different. So should we try this?
Sure.
Did you guys fall in the pools out in our driveway or the?
No, I didn't notice any coming in.
Oh, good.
And
Must have soaked in.
probably did.
It was a lake earlier
Oh,
this
was
morning.
it? Oh, it is. Mm-mm.
So stepping out. I'm going to begin by lengthening in. And then pause and feel that. Feel that your arms, and we're just going to focus on the arms at the moment. It is happening everywhere in your body, but just focus on the arms at the moment. They should be relaxed and have the sense of releasing in, and then continuing and lengthening out. And pause and just let that release continue. And one of the things to be aware of is you don't want that release to go to where you begin to tighten up. So you stop before that point. And then you're going to lengthen in and pause. Feel that, let yourself release. Let go of the tension and lengthen out. And then lengthen in. And lengthen out. Just as Dave was talking about before, you want to feel this in the fingers and the wrists, elbows, shoulders. All the way back out. Try not to tighten up. Don't go to that point. Then lengthen in. Pause. stretching, your bending and extending is still going on. And now you're aware of another level of this. So bending in, lengthening out. And this is one where you really want to be aware that you don't want to force the turn. For instance, if you turn your arms too far, the muscles tighten. So make sure you don't go to that point so that you can allow the lengthening to occur. And then lengthening in, lengthening out. Lengthening in, lengthening out. And allow that lengthening to go all the way out, because then it's very easy to just allow the lengthening in. And out. And lengthening in. Lengthening out. Lengthening in. And out. And then we're going to continue. Try to keep the lengthening going while you're doing the movement. And indeed you want to keep the lengthening in going all the way through, and the lengthening out. So as I was saying, you're looking for those smooth transitions from in to out. With no breaks, so that the chi circulation is continuous.
something.
What?
I could feel something.
You should feel an increase in the chi flow in doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's important to keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, that she doesn't stop, pause a while and start up again, hopefully. That causes heart attacks and things like that.
How does it, go from out to in? Is it a smooth,
You want it to be smooth, yes. So, ultimately, the way I like to focus on it is that the in comes into the dantian,
Mm-hmm.
and the out goes out to the toes, fingers, and the crown of the head. And ideally, you feel all five at once in equal strength.
the toes, the ends of the arm, and the top of the head? Is that what you said?
What I said was, yeah, you want it to go out to the feet, crown of the head, and the hands, and then into the center. That's, that's only one of many flows in the body, but that's the one principal one we're focusing on a lot of the time, not all the time. At the same time, the other one that's really important at the same time is that it's going all the way up and all the way down. So you can just focus on that, although that's a little more difficult. I find anyway. That's not necessarily true for you.
Mm-hmm.
So did you feel an increase in the energy you could be aware of in the last 4?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know we weren't focused on the feet, but I was thinking there's got to be some sort of a movement between the toes and the heel.
That's right.
And I have trouble, my lower back will start to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's just my degenerating skeleton that's doing that, or, because I think you also have to tuck your tailbone in
A little.
but that's part of the circle that you're
Mhm.
gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you if you push,
Yeah.
the Chinese call it a monkey tail. If you push back,
Right on the coccyx.
that blocks the flow of the chi through that area.
Oh, okay, sure.
Not totally, but
Well, yeah,
significantly.
I could see that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basic to everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have spinal stenosis in the lower spine, so that's one of the things I deal with all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I do too much,
Mm-hmm.
then I have to take a break and rest for a while.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I think maybe that's a reality of our age.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So you have to pay attention to that.
Right, yeah.
Consistent practice makes it better, but it doesn't necessarily take it away.
Right.
I'm not going to say that particularly.
No, there's probably no magic bullet.
No.
Whatever is.
Well,
With what I do every day for my body, including my Tai Chi and Qigong. I can go through every day without significant pain. It doesn't mean I don't have discomfort. I mean, just to be real about it. But even when I'm practicing, sometimes I'll get through with going through a long form. My back doesn't get great, so I sit down and rest a bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, it comes and goes,
yeah,
like everything.
yeah.
It's one of the laws of impermanence.
Can you describe when the energy is flowing, what it feels like?
For me, it's just an expansion. And then there's like I like the word condensation instead of lengthening in. Because as a chemist, I get condensation, you know?
Okay,
It's
I'll
like
take that.
It's the water in the air, you know, in order to come together, it's gotta lose energy and it rains. So, yeah, it's kinda, you get smaller,
Yeah,
and then you get bigger, and
Yeah.
then you get smaller.
that's it. That's it.
Can you actually feel?
I can't, my lower part isn't connected to the rest of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've always had trouble, when I meditate, I can see a purple light coming down, it goes in the byway. I can feel it filling my whole head in detail, but it always stops right here. And that's always been this,
It's a big,
yeah, it is, it's
For almost
voice,
everyone.
yeah. And I've learned not to try and force it, because that's not gonna get you anywhere.
no.
Actually, it makes it worse. So there's a certain relaxation that needs to take place.
Just have to dissolve it.
You have to, you have to almost allow yourself to be vulnerable. That's a good word. It's a vulnerability.
Yep.
And I can feel it's like water, warm water that will eventually come down.
Yep.
I usually can't get it much past my torso. I mean, eventually it should go all the way down, but,
The legs are the hard part because of, we stand on them, quite frankly. And it's very hard to release the legs. We feel we have to hold ourselves up.
yeah.
And actually, we don't.
We don't.
If you relax, if you let your muscles go, you drop to what I call base level. That's our lower band, and you can just relax there. Relax there. That's where you get the 2-year-old bounce.
Yeah. I think when I get up in the morning, that's when I notice it the most, because I will tend to hold myself up with the lower part of my legs and actually make myself taller. So I'm pushing off these pads towards the front of my toes, which is the worst thing you can do. I mean, because
You need to lengthen your spine.
Yeah, exactly. And usually my coccyx is pushing out, and which it shouldn't be. It should be relaxing in and relax the knees. You know, it's bal niqua.
Here we are again.
Bal niqua in that order. Yeah. And then when I'm making coffee, usually by then I'm aware that I need to relax. Yeah, stand up. But when I'm half asleep or half awake, that's a bad habit, I guess. And, yeah.
So, you're right about heel toe. Indeed, when you're inhaling or lengthening in, you should be towards your toes,
Okay.
and the other direction towards the heel. And the movement is very subtle.
Right.
I mean, I'm doing it now so you can see it, but it doesn't have to be huge. As a matter of fact, if you make it big, you'll start getting unbalanced and you tighten up.
Mhm.
As soon as you feel imbalanced, everything grabs.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it has to be it's just a matter of changing the pressure, where the pressure is.
Mhm.
There's more pressure towards the toes, there's more pressure towards the heel. Do Chuan and Xinyan. If you'd like to know the point name.
Oh,
Just what you wanted, right?
just add that right in.
So, I was going to go on with this into, actually I was thinking the easiest one to do is really the double arm.
Um,
Because the single arm, each side is doing the opposite. So it is more complicated. And the movement in some ways is more complicated. Whereas with the double arm, both arms are doing the same thing. It's just a matter of being clear about where what is happening. So we might do that,
Mhm.
unless you need a rest. Nope. I
haven't done
don't
a
want to send
double
you home
arm in
exhausted. Gene will beat me up.
No, that's, I come and go.
You
I need to watch also.
Well, I could just demonstrate this once
Yeah,
if
that
you
would-
like.
Yeah.
Would
I
that
would.
be good for
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yes, it would.
So actually, ideally at this point, you want to be lengthening in as you spiral down, and then lengthening out as you come into center, and then lengthening in, and lengthening out. And this is a continuing to lengthen out and then lengthen in. And in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. In, out. In, out. And that, of course, wasn't the double arm, that was the form.
Right.
It was.
I thought I
It still worked.
recognized it.
But it was good practice.
It was good. It's always good practice. So the beginning would be just the same with the double arm. So you're lengthening in, lengthening out, lengthening in, out, in. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Look into it.
And it wasn't actually, it all comes back. It's like riding a bike.
I don't think I'm going to try that.
When's the last time you were on a bike?
60, 70 years ago.
Ooh.
Okay.
Well,
This out of the way.
lengthening in, lengthening out, lengthening in, lengthening out, lengthening in, and out. In, out, 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 in, in, out, in, out, in, out. That's right. Bill?
At least I can find that I'm relaxing, and then I feel like a tingling, that's it,
That's good.
yeah.
So you can do the same thing with this that we did in the 8 gates. Just stop at the end of each part and just feel that you're releasing in and out.
Could we do single hand?
Sure.
Because that kind of, for me, that gives me a little more detail on the in and out.
Okay.
Instead of having to worry about my left hand.
Well, it starts just the same.
Yeah, but there's, I don't know, it's helpful.
Out. So, and remember that actually the single arm starts
Right.
here. So we have in, following the right arm now. In. The right arm is now going out. And it's coming back in. And it's going out.
Okay, so with respect to the elbow,
Yeah.
that's about it, right there. Cause I tend to use the elbow to move the hand around.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can, I get it when you're out here, and then basically it just comes down.
Well,
No, that's,
no,
yeah,
it,
that's what I meant.
it comes through an S curve,
Right, yeah,
and then it goes
up and around,
up,
yeah.
and then it's coming in as the other one goes out,
Mhm.
and then the left is coming in, and the right is going out.
Okay.
And
But
then-
primarily it stays in front of this line. It doesn't get back here.
Oh, the elbow.
Elbow, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the elbow, the elbow has to, the connection there is to your scapula,
Right,
back to that.
right.
So, yes, if you collapse here, I just lost my scapula.
That's what that's what especially when I'm coming down,
Yeah,
it tends to
So-
bunches.
in that movement, it has to go out more.
Mhm. And then this, to get this in across the bottom,
Yeah,
this has to swing in here, rather than
so,
this.
yeah, so if you're doing that,
Mhm.
oh, I'm doing the wrong one.
That's the other side, but that's all right.
That's all right, it is the other side. So, here, notice that my elbow
Right, it's still up
levels my
front,
elbow.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty much when we come, when we step out.
You find that connection.
It's right here,
Yep,
out front,
yep.
and it pretty much stays.
Well, it can move.
Right, yeah, but you're not coming back here.
No, you're not releasing it back.
Cause I can feel more right here, and then it's kinda, that's,
Yep,
but here it's like, ooh, yeah,
absolutely.
I just went past you. So, okay.
I thought I
That's-
felt wind.
Well, well, you can, when you demonstrate that to somebody, you can stand in front of them and go, this is me, and then this is me,
Yeah,
yeah, bigger.
absolutely. You wanna try that?
Sure. For single hand?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the hard part.
still the same issue.
It is, yeah, it feels like it's the same issue.
Well, all it needs to do,
Let's just keep it here.
one thing is your hand's in the center to begin with. If it starts on the side,
I got further to go.
yeah,
Okay,
if you're in the center, then crossing the center line is pretty easy to do.
yeah.
But if you're over here, now it's a big deal. Yeah. Starting in the center.
It's, gotta work on it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
Well-
wanna go, for some reason.
That was better.
I gotta end up with more room over here so I can get it. Hmm. That's all you can see on me on the tape is doing that.
I'm in the way,
Remember,
don't
when you
worry.
get to here, that you're gonna turn this way. This is part of that movement.
Yeah, and I gotta leave myself enough room when I get over here
Do it.
to be able to do it.
You know, the other thing I noticed with you is that it seems to me you're not keeping the dial open, the parameter open.
Oh, okay.
And that, I mean, you can do it internally, but you really need to be physically keeping it open. If you let it do this, or even if you let a knee go out, it tends to block, which is kind of an interesting thing. But any movement this way,
Okay.
and you have a little tendency to do that. When you go here, you have a tendency to let the knee collapse in,
Yeah.
and it needs to stay there. That will improve. That's critical to the flow through the legs.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm,
Nothing to think about.
I'm listening,
Good.
I'm watching.
It looked to me like your left arm was better.
I didn't pay any attention to it. And
That's
then-
probably why.
Yeah,
And
let's
then
get started.
after a while, I said, Jesus, I remember that was a big problem. What was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, had to work on that for a long time. Still working on it.
It took me a while to, yeah.
Okay.
Want to look at the form again? Or-
Yeah.
Or have I filled you up?
Well, there's one, yeah, that's still.
You have a place that's an issue in the form?
Yeah, it's the same old place where we come out of, let's see. Boom. And this steps up. And I've gotta get over here.
Yeah. So,
And that's,
when, you finish this here, you come forward and you start the rotation to place the foot, because that's how you rotate the foot in the leg into the right position. Yeah.
so,
So you're here, you're going to shift into it, sit on it, start that turn to the left, keep turning left, and now, right, excuse me, and now complete the turn and shift forward, turn right.
oh, I see, okay, I know what I'm doing. So, yeah, I've been just bringing it straight up, but it actually
No,
has to
you gotta-
go a little bit back here.
Yes,
to
yes,
That gets me to turn,
yes.
otherwise I can't turn. All right, Now I just have to remember that.
Aha, why don't you try it once?
Okay, so, well. Still going
Yep.
there, and
So your right foot is turned way too far out. It has to be turned in on a shallow angle.
this,
You won't be able to do the movement.
yeah, where was I? Oh, here. And, that gets you to bring it back in,
Yes, it does.
there,
Good.
something like that.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Yeah, I can feel it more down in here, when it's shifting around and goes into the right place,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Good.
Interesting, I could really see the dong closing off when you were doing
I'm
it.
still doing that,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, okay,
That, it showed up more in the form just now
yeah,
than it did in the single arm.
all right, I'm just gonna have to be more mindful about it.
That's a, yeah, and that's a, I don't know. That's just one of those physical things where you have to just be aware that if you don't keep that space, then the energy can't. Yeah,
What space are you?
this
Oh, I tend
space.
to bring my knee in like this,
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be, it should volley, qua, volley, this should be fixed from the knee down, and it should all move up here.
yeah. It's the qua is where the rotation occurs,
Yeah, yes,
not in
not in my knee.
not in your knee.
But in my case, it does.
Never in the knee. You don't want to have a knee replacement that doesn't work
No.
100% well.
No, that's okay. Let's skip that.
Bill, how's yours? You've been doing it longer.
Doing what?
The form.
Oh, the floor. There's a lot of detail that I've slushed away from.
Well, is there an area that you know you need to work on?
You know what I have trouble with
What?
is, and then where you go from there.
Sure. I was working on that before you guys came,
Oh,
as a matter of fact. So, you do elbow,
Yeah.
and you have to just shift to 100% here.
Yeah.
Because the arms, while the arms are beginning to fold, they are not rotating. So you're not turning as you shift. So when you get to here, this is just sit on that left leg so you can rotate in, turn and step, rotate and shift, rotate.
Let's try that again.
Sure. So if you're at elbow, you shift onto the left, rotate in, step, rotate and shift forward, and rotate.
I end up with that left foot straight. Looks like it should be on a slight angle.
Well, it's on an angle because it's out here for this, for the elbow strike.
Ah, okay.
then you sit on it, you rotate in, turn and step, and at that point you've come to embrace the moon.
Yep.
And then it's rotate and shift forward 7, just rotate 8.
Yeah, and I can see where the foot is.
Yeah. And then it's in position for the bow stance,
Yeah.
hopefully.
That's some work to do.
So, part of the magic, there
Thank
we
you.
go.
There's a lot of magic.
A lot of that magic stuff. I was at Lion's Roar, I think last week, had a whole segment on magic, for Buddhist magic.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, so I get this thing once a week from Lion's Roar, the publication. It's a digital copy, and usually they'll have 3 articles that are in the magazine, which I don't get.
Yeah.
And one was on magic, yeah.
Ooh.
Which appears, I mean, in Taoists, you
Yeah.
know, they're full of magic, so.
Yeah.
It's the doing without doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to it.
That always puzzles my friends when I bring that up.
I know.
So what are you talking about? Of course you gotta do it. Oh, really? Well, I can't point it out to you, because if I do that, it won't happen, but I can point out after the fact.
You know,
Yeah.
anytime anybody mentions magic, all I can think of is that street guy with the cards and, all right, pick a card, and then he throws them up against the window.
Yeah.
And he said, "Is that your card?"
Mhm.
And it's face.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, get it. It's on the other side of the glass.
Glass, yeah,
That's mind-boggling.
right. Yeah. Well, this is like that, but there's no tricks to it.
Oh, that's even better.
In fact, there's a good book on it now, I read a couple, it's called Real Magic. And they talk about the stage magic, which kind of, it's entertainment, and it's kind of the same thing, but it's not, the other is authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Real magic.
yeah. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
haven't read that. Who do you know who they are?
I'm not good on author. I could,
Neither am I.
I could email it to you.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link.
I
It's in my
I only
library.
have a dozen books ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
one more won't kill you.
That's right.
That's like Jeannie, she goes to bed, she's got a pile like this, and she'll read one and go, oh, okay, I'm gonna read this one now. It's like,
Yeah, that's,
you can't do that. I gotta stick with one.
Well, it depends what I'm reading. I mean, like,
Well, yeah.
I'm reading, right now I'm reading, are you familiar with David Hinton?
Oh, the name's familiar, yeah.
Yeah. He's a spiritual philosopher,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Taoist Buddhist. But he wrote one of, he's written a number of things. He's done great translations of all the classics.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, he's the first person in something like 60 or 70 years that has translated all 8 of the classics.
Oh, geez.
But this book is called Existence, and it is looking at the spiritual and philosophical meaning of a painting and the poem that's on it.
Oh, okay.
One painting and poem.
Mhm.
And I can only read maybe 2 or 3 pages,
Mm.
4 if that's a really good day, and then
Yeah.
then I have to think about it for
You
a
have to
while
put it
before.
Yeah.
So that slows you down.
Yeah.
So I have a novel going on the side, so I can.
That's what I'm into now, is, the Wagner, the 1700s ship that, out of England, that sailed around South America, and it shipwrecked.
Yeah.
It tried to go through the straits, and it got shipwrecked, so there was 100, it started, well, when they left for England, they had 250 people on board. by the time they got to South America, they were down to like 175. And then eventually they shipwreck on this island. They survive for a couple months. They built a boat to get off, and they were down, I think they put like 57 in the boat. And when it finally ended up in Brazil, they were in the 20s.
My God.
Yeah, because of, you know, starvation and the fact that their clothes wore out. So where do you get new clothes, you know? And
Yeah.
they would kill a seal and eat the seal and take the skin and wrap it around their feet. And eventually they'd eat the seal skin that's around their feet. But, yeah.
And then their feet get cold.
You know, that's, yeah, apparently you would think, but that's not mentioned very often.
Huh.
Or even when the Pilgrims came over, half of them died the first year.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any oil-fired furnaces to keep themselves warm. And if they had to wade to shore, they were wet.
Yeah.
But they don't talk about how cold it was. I mean, we'd be pissing and moaning about that. Or you go outside and it's
That's right.
snowing, and they're like, it's cold out here. Well, try living at 32 degrees day and night.
Yeah.
But I think they had a lot of layers.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
They had to.
Yeah, but it's not, they don't complain about the cold.
No.
That's not in the records. Which
Yeah.
is odd, you
Yeah.
know, for me anyway. It must have been just a part of life. You're cold? Yeah, okay, so what? So what else is new?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it comes with the territory.
I think
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Hot in the summer and cold in the winter.
Oh, yeah, because it was wool that they wore, you know, for the sheep, so, yeah, it's pretty hot in the summer.
You know, it would amaze me, because, you know, that's 1607 down in, I don't know, where's that, Virginia?
Oh, Virginia? Yeah.
But 1620, and then you start looking around, and 2 or 3 years later, you got this place started.
Mhm.
You know, like in Rhode Island or in Massachusetts, somewhere else. Got into Connecticut. When did they come into to Connecticut? It was early on.
Oh, pretty, yeah, 1600s. Norwich
Oh,
was settled
yeah.
in 1659.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's Norwich.
yeah.
And that was after Windsor, so with, you know,
It wasn't
Yeah.
too long
And it was
after
Old Saybrook.
1620. I mean, it was like 10
Yeah.
years later. What
Yeah.
the hell? What were they doing? What were they thinking of? Just getting up and walking. Come on, come on. Where are you going?
Well, we're not doing too well here. Let's try another spot.
another spot. Well, a lot of it was food and shelter.
Yeah.
You know, you lived for food and shelter. That's
Yeah.
it. You know, sun came up, you started to work. Sun goes down, you go to bed. Because back then you did sleep 1 and sleep 2. Because most of them got up around midnight. Sleep 1 was from sunset till 11. And then second sleep was from like 12:30 at 1 o'clock in the morning till the sun came up.
Why
They
was
slept
that?
twice, so they could get up and get some stuff done in the
Oh,
middle of the
my.
night. Yeah, that was,
I
or
do that now,
couples would
but I
have
mean,
sex,
it's-
that's when they would have sex, because otherwise, they're all sleeping in one bed with the kids, so. Or
Yeah.
they'd have a conversation, that was the other thing too, a lot of them would just get up on one elbow and have a conversation, or they'd go out and run errands and stuff like that. Yeah, it was sleep 1 and sleep 2.
I've never heard that
No?
before. No.
And then with the Industrial Revolution, that went away, because you had to get up at crack of dawn and go to work.
Right.
Yeah.
So that all changed,
Huh.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
It all
It was,
makes sense.
it was also a dangerous time to go out, because that's when the thieves had to get out, because under the cover of darkness,
Yeah.
they'd be trying to get away with stuff. Yeah. Different lifestyle.
Indeed.
So I have to laugh about people that think, you know, criticize people in the past. It's like, yeah.
You know what? My caps all got fairly sweat stained and dirty.
You know, like this.
And Jane put them in the dishwasher.
That's what I do with this.
Oh, I never
I
had heard that before,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it really
yeah.
worked.
Yep, a friend of mine told me that years ago, especially with the bill.
Yeah,
Because what I would do when I was mowing the lawn is I would drench this with bug spray
yeah,
to keep the gnats out of my face, but then, you know, to clean it, I just put it in the top rack of the dishwasher and
yeah.
let it go through the cycle.
Wow,
Then I'd let it
I
dry
never heard of that.
outside.
It works really well.
Yeah, I haven't done it on, this is salt right here.
Yeah.
And this is also a fitted cap. You know how long it took me to get this? Because nobody sells them anymore.
No.
And I was like, I'm gonna find a place that's, somebody's gotta sell these things.
You know, I found a shoe recently that I really love, because all our shoes have heels, and we shouldn't have heels.
Not really.
And martial arts shoes don't have heels, and I'm always comfortable in my martial arts shoes.
Right.
Well, I found this company called Barefoot,
Oh.
B-E-A-R, foot. They make shoes and a hiking boot
Huh.
with flat soles, and I absolutely love these shoes.
Huh. I'll have to look them up.
Um,
Oh,
That's
there's
Renee's,
no heel?
no heel.
that's Renee's husband's last name.
Barefoot?
Yep. That's what she calls him too. I gotta go talk to Barefoot.
I've never heard her say that.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, it's just, finding a really good shoe with a flat sole is very hard.
Like these.
Yeah.
Well, these are about at the end of their life cycle.
Yeah,
But I have another pair at home still in the box.
well, that's good.
These are Skechers,
Uh-huh.
and I think I've gone through at least 3 pair. This will be the 4th. And then I have another pair at home, and then I have one in the box.
You're set up for a while.
I think I'm set up for a long run. Okay. Alrighty, crunch, there we go.
Well, gentlemen,
Alright, it's been
Yes.
fun.
have fun. Practice, practice, practice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Release those nerves.
And now watch my knees,
And watch your knees, yes.
that's the thing. Alright, Bill.
All right, take care, Dave.
Yep,
Dave,
we'll see
take care.
you in a couple weeks.
Good.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Yep, good to see you too.